Motorsport 411 presents
all the four- and two-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
Welcome to Motorsport 411, your home for all your four- and two-wheel action in Africa. Coming up in this episode, we speak to the winner of the Ivory Coast Rally, Gary Chaynes, and we get the latest motorsport news in Uganda with reporter Rob Styles.
All the four- and two-wheeled action. Motorsport 411.
Welcome to the show. So it was his 7th overall victory in the event. Gary Chaynes, the 2014 Africa Rally champion, was the winner of the Bandama Rally over the weekend. Speaking through a translator, I started off by asking Gary how difficult the event was for him.
Alors la victoire n'a pas été difficile.
The event was not too difficult. I was well prepared. The rally car was in top condition and my crew was well prepared. All was set in terms of recce. We were in top form and well prepared for the rally.
Nous avons fait de bonnes reconnaissances, donc nous avons mis toutes les chances de notre côté pour pouvoir remporter ce rallye.
Gary, you've always had an advantage in your home event. Any plans for competing in the Africa Rally Championship?
Oui, effectivement, nous avons un avantage étant à domicile.
Yes, we have home advantage. We have not participated in the African Championship since 2014, given the fact that it's a complicated rally to participate in, especially for us in West Africa.
Très compliqué surtout pour nous.
Rallies held in Eastern Africa call for a lot of logistics in our part.
De l'autre côté, à l'est, et il est très compliqué pour nous de pouvoir faire ce championnat.
What are your thoughts on the top drivers skipping Ivory Coast due to the logistics? Can anything be done to change the logistics to make it easier for people to compete in Ivory Coast?
Justement, c'est exactement le même problème qu'ils ont que j'ai.
Well, it's more or less the same issues that I face when I decide to take part in rallies outside West of Africa. They would face logistical nightmares if they were to take part in a rally in West Africa. Indeed, they're dealing with one rally in West Africa, while we from West Africa have to deal with numerous rallies on the other side of Africa. It's extremely difficult in Côte d'Ivoire to participate in the African Championship rallies.
Parce que pour eux, il ne manque qu'une épreuve en Côte d'Ivoire, et après, ils ont tout le reste à proximité de chez eux.
That's the 7 times Rally Bandama winner Gary Chaynes. We'll be back.
All the four- and two-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411.
So welcome back. Now let's get the latest motorsport news from Uganda. Sir Rob Styles, the Uganda Motorsports reporter extraordinaire. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411. There's been an event, a rally that was held not this past weekend, the weekend before, and it was victory for Yassin Nasser in that new R5.
Yes, we had the first round of the Uganda National Championship, and of course, Yassin Nasser came out a victor after some good performance and maybe a misfortune from Duncan Mubiru, who was leading the rally throughout, though later Yassin Nasser managed to win the event.
All right, and it's proving to be a bit of a battle. We've got, of course, the new R5, or what we call the Rally 2 cars. How is that making an impact in the Uganda Rally Championship?
I think right now, due to the new car in the country, we can see the pressure is mounting to some of the drivers, and of course the competition is rising among the drivers, especially the drivers with the short cars. And I think everyone is now thinking about the short cars due to the impact, the speeds. Fans are really getting excited due to the new cars. Yes, I may say the new cars. I remember Duncan Mubiru is running for the Fiesta Proto from Nixon's, and then Ronald Sebuguzi is running also a Proto from Stake Motorsport, Poland. Surely the competition is rising among the drivers, and you could say they are making a difference now on the championship, and looks like every driver will be looking at a short car, of course, to be able to compete with these drivers. Competition is rising and everything is changing. The dynamics of the sport is changing right now, especially when you look at the drivers who are driving the Group N cars. So everyone is now looking at the new trend or the new cars as something that giving them a run for their money. So it looks like they would also want to switch if they do have the money. But we would say Yasin Nasser's car, the R5, is really making a difference, and it looks like it's going to be the turning point of motorsport in Uganda.
If I'm not wrong, I think there are now 2 R5s in Uganda, what we call the Rally 2 cars. But Uganda at a crossroads, a bit like Kenya a few years ago, where drivers have to think now of the homologation of the cars. Where do you see motorsport heading in Uganda?
Surely we would need to look into that again, because when you look at our championship here, these cars, the proto cars, they are classified as SPV or under SPV category. So that means if you're running an SPV car here, you will have a deduction of 10 points. You don't score 100% on the championship. So I think the federation or the competitions committee has to sit down and revise the regulations, to regulate that, to see how these cars get to fit into the championship. And, everyone rides with the intention to win the championship. We either adjust and make it like the cars have to score 100%, or we make a different championship so that everyone in that category competes on that championship but scores 100%. That's what I think. If we come out with that, I think it's even going to attract more drivers or more competitors to come into the championship, because we really have many drivers here, but some still are sitting out. Lately, we have had some divisions, so we have been competing under divisions. That is also there. The category is there, but then on the NRC, many drivers here, we could say they are riding Group S cars, and then others are riding now the SPVs, and looks like it's where we are heading to. That's what I think.
Very, very interesting. Now, of course, we're expecting all the big drivers to compete this year. There was a little bit of controversy towards the end of the year when you were trying to find out who won the championship. Just clarify for us the national champion.
Yes, Byron Rugwamoka and Akim Mawanda, driving a Mitsubishi Evo X, they were declared the champions of 2022 after, I would say, a standoff. We had a crew that was of Ponciano Rakataka. They did not actually participate in the last event. That was CMC Kaliro Sugar Rally. There was some incidents that took place in that event where we saw Jonas Kansime. Actually, Jonas Kansime was also vying for the championship, and then we had Byron Rugwamoka vying for the championship, and then Ponciano Rakataka, who was leading the championship, despite he was absent in that event, he did not take part. So now we had an incident where we saw Jonas Kansime. Okay, he was slowed down by Byron Rugwamoka in a stage. Now, the regulation says if you are slowed by a failed driver or a failed competitor, you are not compensated with the time. So now, actually, we saw still the same incident where Ronald Sevuguzi was slowed down by a 0-0 car. Now, a 0-0 car here, according to the regulations, it's categorized under the officials' cars. And the regulation says or states if you're slowed down by an official car, you are compensated with the time. So now that's where all the saga started from. Jonas Kansime logging in a complaint, and he wasn't okay or contented with the results after the end of the rally. So he had to log in the complaint. And later, Jonas missed out on the podium. He did not go on the podium. So that's where it all started. After the rally, Ponciano Rakataka logged in a complaint saying Jonas Kansime missed out on the podium, the Olympic style celebration. That means he is supposed to be extracted. At the point, his points from that rally were supposed to be extracted from him, and he wasn't scoring any point. Still, it was the same going to Byron Rugwamoka. But Byron, what he did, I think he was wise enough. He went and, of course, picked the trophies. However, he did not stand on the podium. So now the competitions committee came out with a ruling, of course, to declare Byron Rugwamoka, simply because Byron Rugwamoka showed up at the prize giving ceremony and picked up his trophies for that particular rally, a thing which Jonas Kansime did not do. So that's how Byron Rugwamoka ended up being the champion of 2022, and that was all sorted.
All right. Of course, you've had a couple of events. You've had the rally, you've had Autocross. Autocross, a slightly different format to what we have in Kenya, but that was also very successful for you guys.
The Autocross, it was very successful. Actually, it was on one of the new tracks. We have just had that track, or we had that track being commemorated last year, and it came to use. It's a very nice track. It's a very challenging one. It's very loose. I think it really gives the drivers some good experience. If you would see the gravel veranda, kind of like, so that's how the track looks like. We did not have a number or much number of competitors entering this event. We only had 10 drivers participating in this event, and I think we had 4 cadets. The cadets are the ones who are starting. We have that category, but the general category, we had, of course, some senior drivers. Actually, Jonas Kansime, who missed out on the championship last year, of course, winning that weekend is Autocross. Then we saw a young boy coming up. He's a son to one of our legendary drivers, Kukuranjit. So he participated. Actually, he started racing, and hopefully this year, if he finish up with Autocross next year, we are expecting him to upgrade, because I already talked to him. So that's the plans he has. Motorsport is really promising. We had a very good event, though we do not have a number of new drivers right now coming in. So that's all I can say about the Autocross over the weekend.
So you seem to be having it slightly different in Uganda, where your rally entries are quite high, Autocross entries are a bit lower. Any reason why?
I think the reason why Uganda is now registering a high number of entries in each and every rally, I think the federation gave the sport to the people. It gave the sport to local people. You can see we don't really have that much sponsors right now, or lately. We do not have sponsors or sponsoring individual drivers. You will find a few sponsors, like 3 to 5 cars with a number of sponsors, but still they do not give in that much. Now, Ugandan people just love motorsport. The regulations that regulates the cars that we use on the championship, they are favorable to all the drivers. You know, we can have locally built cars, of course, being given waivers to compete in these in the championships. Yes, you can, as long as the car passes the safety. Definitely, you will have to race, or you will have to race if you love racing, because as safety is paramount. Everyone is given a chance, and we have many locally built cars. And I think maybe that's where we are coming ahead of Kenya and maybe the continent. I don't know recently how it works in Kenya, but that is it. And I think Kenya needs to look at that as a reason, letting these locally built cars, if they can pass safety, and drivers comes back to race, at a very low budget or at a very low cost. Uganda motorsport is a religion. I'm very sure right now it has surpassed football.
All right, so a number of differences between Kenya and Uganda. We're talking about climate change. Kenya going through unprecedented dry weather, which now is starting to affect motorsport. We're seeing motocross was supposed to be held not this coming weekend, but the following weekend at Jamhuri Park. The Katende brothers, there were reports that they might be competing in our local championship, but that has had to be postponed due to the unprecedented dry weather. You've got motocross coming up. We saw, in fact, I was at the event late last year, the Africa Championship, of course, what we call the regional championship between Kenya and Uganda. And, motocross really thriving at the moment in Uganda.
Yes, about the Katende brothers to participate in the Kenyan Motocross Championship. Right now, I'm not so sure, or it's not verified yet, or I've not yet gotten the verification about it. But what I know, the Katende brothers have been regular participants in the Kenyan Motocross Championships, some of the events. Just as we see Kigeni Mutuma in the 65cc, he has been a regular contender here. Actually, he has not missed so many events down here in Kampala. So if it's said like that, I'm very sure the Katende brothers will be looking at that, and I'm very sure they will utilize that chance. Actually, this very year, one of the Katende brothers, no, both of them, and the 2022 African champion, that's Gift Sebuguzi. I understand they will be representing Uganda at the World Mini Motocross in July, I think July or August, one of the either months. So I think if the Katende brothers are coming to Kenya to participate in the National Motocross Championship, I think this is one of their plans, of course, to be utilized to participate in the World Mini Motocross, which is due in August. So I won't rule it out. We could be seeing the Katende brothers regularly contending or competing on the Kenya Motocross Championship. So surely we are loving it. We are loving motocross. We are seeing a number of riders now. Motocross is also growing, especially in the 50cc here in Kampala. 50cc, 65cc, 85cc. You know, those are the categories, and these are the categories where we see young riders, the emerging young riders. You can't believe in only one event we could have 17 riders, you know, in only one category, over 17 riders. The only class where we are having a low number of riders, we have the MX2 and MX1. We have a number of 5 riders, 5 to 6, and sometimes they're not around. We had a breakaway faction that was of Mao, but late last year, of course, we saw Mao coming back to the FMU, and of course, the riders had to come back and unite. And this very year in MX1, the opening of the season, we saw them still coming back. Apart from the Orlando brothers, I think their schedule is really tight, because I saw them again competing in South Africa still this very month. And actually, I saw, was it Aviv? Aviv, of course, finishing second. Yes, in the Red Bull something, the race which was in South Africa. I think that was last weekend or a week before. So we are expecting them to come back in MX2, actually, which is coming next weekend. This weekend, sorry, not next weekend. This weekend, so MX2 will be running in central Uganda, in the part of Kalisizo. That's Masaka. So we will see, actually, we are expecting riders from Kenya still to come and participate in this event. Riders like Masalule Kitui will be here in Kampala. Rohan Gandhi, those will be competing under MX2, and we are expecting them to be here. And I think that really boost our championship in this weekend's race, and that's the MX2. So surely motocross is growing. If we could always have our Kenyan brothers coming to participate, and then the Ugandan brothers coming to Nairobi to participate in the championship, surely that means the sport is growing, especially here in Uganda.
Very, very interesting. Our thanks as always to Uganda's top motorsports reporter, Sir Rob Styles. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411.
You're welcome, Sean. I'm really pleased to speak to you, and thank you so much to Lee, who is producing the stuff.
We'll be back.
Motorsports 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
So that's it for the show this week. Our thanks once again to Gary Chaynes and Rob Styles. Our thanks as always to Big City Studio. I'm Sean Cardovillis. See you next week.